Today's talk is about some facts that relate to the Cold War, how the people felt during the war, and the music of Vietnam in the 60s. The Cold War was a period of time between 1945 and 1991. The Cold War was a long period of tension between the democracies of the Western world and the communist countries of Eastern Europe. The West was led by the United States, and Eastern Europe was led by the Soviet Union. The Cold War began after World War II ended in 1945. The Soviet Union was an important member of the Allied powers' main countries. There was a great amount of tension between the Soviet Union and the rest of the Allies. The Cold War eventually did become an end when the collapse of Soviet Union in 1991. But mainly, the USA and other allies and the USSR, the Soviet Union, were battling it out, or in other words, threatening each other. As known, the Soviet Union was communist-ruled, and America was against it, as well as concerned about Joseph Stalin's tyrannical, bloodthirsty rule of Russia. When World War II ended, America agreed that containment was the best way to defend America and the rest of the Allies. Containment is the action of keeping something harmful under control or within limits. However, there's a lot of interesting things happening during the Cold War. Congress added "Under God" to the Pledge of Allegiance during the Cold War to show hatred to the communists who were atheists. The USA and the USSR planned to go into space together after the Cold War, but Kennedy was assassinated and the USSR did not trust the vice president. America sent 20,000 Bibles to Romania, and Romanians turned it into toilet paper since they were running short. America also used bears to test their ejector seats in supersonic jets during the Cold War time. But still, the Cold War was a long period of tension, and it didn't even involve weapons, but threats. Many people felt really indignant or resentful about the war. People still don't usually talk about this topic now. Still today, threats such as ones in the Cold War happen, but we just don't call it that anymore. Any day now, we could possibly have another labeled Cold War. Some famous artists like Otis Redding even wrote songs that tell how they felt during the time of the Cold War and the Vietnam time. Here are some songs they've created. "Give Me Shelter" by the Rolling Stones. The song was written in 1969 in the most violent time of the Vietnam War. This song was written by lead vocalist Mick Jagger and guitarist Keith Richards and was sung by Mick Jagger and Mary Clayton. He sings, "If he didn't get some shelter, Lord, I'm gonna fade away, just like the thousands of soldiers stuck in Vietnam." "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay" by Otis Redding. The song was recorded by Redding twice, the last one just a few days before he died in a plane crash. Although the enduring popularity of "Sitting on the Dock of the Bay" by among Vietnam soldiers, now veterans, and the power of the song to transport, to connect, and to heal. "This loneliness won't leave me alone because I've had nothing to live for and looks like there's nothing gonna come my way," the song says. Hits vets right in the heart every time they hear those words. "We've Got to Get Out of This Place" by the Animals. It has become an iconic song of its type and was immensely popular with the United States during the Vietnam War. The song was intended to be sung by the Righteous Brothers, but they came out with a hit single called "You've Lost That Loving Feeling," so the Animals took over the song. Today's music is what we call pop. It's upbeat and less classic. Today, lots of today's technology is used with today's music, when 60s Vietnam was played with real instruments and recorded. From the threats in the Cold War to the songs about Vietnam, the world sure has changed since then. That is it for now.